Comedy feels very pure to me. It feels like one of the very few things in my life that I've always had an intrinsic interest in, as far as I can remember. Like, no one's ever had to push me in the direction of comedy. It's its own reward. It feels very much like the thing I'm in for the love of the game. But the odd thing with doing stand-up is you're in front of a crowd, and your success or failure is judged based on the reaction of that crowd. So you can kind of feel a need to protect yourself, put up some walls and defenses to keep from getting crushed up there by a heap of judgment from the onlookers. There's a temptation to go up there with some bravado, a little swagger. People are less likely to mess with you if you look like you know something they don't. The problem with that is comedy is not cool. It's not a genre for the smooth and hip and well-liked. It's not supposed to be impressive. As soon as you're up there posturing, that's all fake. You don't want to try to impress anyone. There's no one to impress in comedy. There's no one to impress in comedy. Like, the purity of comedy to me is that it's a fun game. You're playing a game with the audience and it's fun. There's no winner or loser. You're co-creating. It's just a silly, playful game. And you mess up the game if you turn it into a competition where you're trying to be king of the hill. There's a reason like court jesters weren't the king. That's not how it works. Cool in comedy, to me, it comes across as needy. There's a neediness there. But also, like, whatever hole you're trying to fill by coming across as cool is not going to be filled by tricking a group of strangers into thinking you're cool. Bad strategy, Like, that's a weird byproduct of comedy. It's not the art itself. That's not a good reason to be up there. And the stage and the spotlight don't help either. If you interpret it incorrectly, that can make you think you're more important than you are, which is not helpful for comedy. Like, you need the stage and the spotlight, because it tells people to pay attention. You need people to pay attention. It's a social art form. But that's where the importance of the stage and the spotlight end for me in comedy, right? It doesn't mean you're special. That's stupid. You're lying to yourself if you let it go to your head. Oh, I stepped on a stage and there's a spotlight. Like, it is weird because you need to get the laughs, right? That's how you know you're vibing and tracking with the audience. But you don't want to interpret that as a sign that you're cool and special, right? You want to interpret that as, okay, I'm making good art. I'm approaching this in the right way. I'm being honest. There is a form of stand-up comedy that is sort of just like doing backflips. I saw a dude do a standing backflip at the gym the other day. Like, he was just standing there and then he just jumped straight up in the air and flipped all the way backwards and landed on his feet again. It was pretty cool, right? He basically dunked without a basketball hoop. There's a form of entertainment you can do on stage that's like that, It's cool. It's very cool. And that is cool. I don't want to take away from things that are cool. You know what I mean? Cool things should exist and people should be allowed to do them and get applause and whatnot. I like cool things. But I don't think that the funniest stand-up is cool. Like, I don't think that works. I don't think that plays. Like, cool has a hard cap on how funny it can be. Like, if you want to hit the higher levels of funny, you got to take the plunge into the uncool. You got to let the audience judge you. You got to drop the posturing, risk potential humiliation. Hopefully that's not the direction it goes in, right? But if you miscalibrate things, that's always a risk if you're trying to find the funniest stuff. And even if you mess up and it's embarrassing, try not to lock up and throw up the defenses, just keep it a playful game, If you keep it silly and light, generally people will follow suit. If you don't try to act like you're too cool for them, for the most part, people won't act like they're too cool for you. You all get to keep playing the game together.